Happening now, some local stores are once again limiting quantities of high-demand items. Plus, we hear the call of Jamestown City Council retirees who are fighting changes to their health care policies.
Well, we've had some lake-effect snow squalls this morning. They're going to continue through the afternoon and parts of the day tomorrow. Then we get into another warm-up. I'll tell you about it all in detail next as the News at Noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. City of Jamestown employees, past and present, rallied last night in support of retiree benefits that Jamestown's mayor is trying to restructure as part of his proposed budget. Around 75 workers, ranging from DPW staff to police and firemen, spoke out against Mayor Eddie Sundquist's plan to save money in his budget because they fear the changes would impact healthcare insurance benefits for retirees. Retired Jamestown Police Sergeant Joe Jenko, who the changes would directly impact, brought a copy of his union health insurance contract as evidence to what he agreed to.
We agreed in 1987 for health insurance for retirees. It's never changed. The language, I don't believe, has changed one iota, and I want to make members, particularly members of the council, aware, or if they're not aware, of the language as it exists right now. They're trying to take away something that says they can't do.
Jenko says if the city was forced to make changes, he would rather have them negotiate with retirees rather than enact the changes in the upcoming budget. The mayor says the changes are clerical in nature and should not impact current benefits received by past employees. Sundquist's says that claims that he plans to get rid of health care benefits are false.
We've never discussed that in the budget presentation. We actually talked about just looking at the Medicare eligible retirees who already pay for Medicare through their Social Security. We can move them to a fully insured plan and thereby saving them money and saving the city money in doing so. The benefits remain exactly the same and in fact have increased and enhanced benefits.
Now, the mayor spoke directly to the group just moments after a meeting discussing the future budget. He says if federal aid doesn't come to cities like Jamestown, he will be forced to make very tough decisions like layoffs and other major cuts in order to move through COVID-19's financial impacts. Meanwhile, Jamestown's mayor has appointed Timothy Jackson as the city's next police chief. Mayor Eddie Sundquist announced that news yesterday afternoon. Jackson has been serving as acting police chief after former chief Harry Snellings retired in July. Jackson has served in the Jamestown Police Department since May 2000. He received his Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology from the State University of New York at Fredonia and his Master's of Administration of Justice from Mercyhurst University. He served in the U.S. Navy Reserves from 2002 to 2008 and was deployed in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom from 2005 to 2006. He's a lifelong resident of Jamestown, where he resides with his wife. The appointment will need to be confirmed by the Jamestown City Council at this month's voting session before it becomes official. Well, the Biden-Harris team this week continues to push forward with preparations to take over the White House and the response to the coronavirus pandemic. Karen Kafa reports their focus is now on the pandemic's economic consequences.
President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris charting their response to the economic crisis sparked by the coronavirus pandemic with the help of top CEOs and labor leaders.
Once we shut down the virus and deliver economic relief to workers and businesses, then we can start to build back better than before. We talked about how we have an opportunity to come out of this stronger.
Their transition is still without key funding, security clearances, or cooperation from the Trump administration. President Donald Trump still refusing to concede and pushing baseless election fraud allegations, including one about the ongoing recount in Georgia. The Republican lieutenant governor said there's been no evidence of widespread fraud.
Proud to report that continue to not see any sort of systemic issues or fraud or improprieties.
With Inauguration Day about 9 weeks away, President Trump's national security advisor Robert O'Brien went further than most Trump White House officials Monday in acknowledging the reality ahead.
If the Biden-Harris ticket is determined to be the winner, and it's, obviously things look that way now, we'll have a very professional transition from the National Security Council.
With access to federal agencies blocked until the Trump administration signs off, the Biden-Harris team has been making their own calls to governors and public health officials on pandemic planning, including eventual vaccine distribution. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Karen, thank you. President-elect Biden also urges Congress to pass a coronavirus relief package, including funding for state and local governments. Well, some local stores are once again limiting high-demand items like hand soap, toilet paper, and garbage bags to make sure they're available to as many customers as possible. Both Wegmans and Tops Markets released updated availability lists yesterday. At both stores, customers can expect to see limits on things like toilet paper, cleaners, peanut butter, sugar, and storage bags, just to name a few. Store management says over the past few months, their merchandising teams have been sourcing additional suppliers and bringing in new brands to build up their holiday and winter reserves. Now, an updated list is currently posted on our website at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, we thank you all for joining us here for WNY News Now, as we certainly seem to be pretty wet and slushy out there this morning with a little bit of snow across our region. We'll get a check of our First Defense forecast in just a moment. But first, let's check in with the comments and say hello to Jeff. Great to see you here. Good to see Rick, Sandy, Allison, Tom, Debbie, and Holly. Let us know what you all are thinking about in the comments down below. We always love hearing from you and interacting. Well, speaking of that weather, let's now check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, who's standing by with a first look at it. In Dakota, it's amazing how quickly things can change from looking like fall to more like winter.
Yep, it's a smorgasbord of weather. And again, I used that term yesterday. That's exactly the kind of weather we have around here. We go from the wet and windy stuff that we had on Sunday all the way to the snow and the cold stuff. This is the live look over Findlay Lake. The snow is ended here, and we do see a few breaks in the overcast. So we may actually see a few breaks of sunshine. 34 degrees currently at Findlay Lake right now. First Defense Doppler radar on the time lapse shows you this snow coming right off Lake Erie. This is actually not pure Lake Erie lake effect. This actually has a connection all the way to the upper Great Lakes. That's where our moisture input is coming from with that north to northwest wind component. So it's dragging in all that colder air across the Great Lakes. And where you see the darker blues, that starts to indicate the heavier amounts of snowfall rates. But again, this is not going to be anything major. We will see a few more inches of accumulation, mainly on the hills. But yeah, most everybody has woken up with some nice snow, and I'll show you the pictures in just a little bit here. 37 was the high yesterday. We started the day at 30. 70 is the record high for this date, set in 1954, and 28 was the record low back in 1995. So as we go through the rest of the afternoon, it's going to be rather cold. Scattered lake effect snow showers continue. We'll add about an additional 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. That 3 inches is going to be on the hills, 1 inch across the lower elevations. A brisk breeze, 30 to 39. Only our high temps today with that northwest wind, 10 to 20 miles per hour. But if you don't like the snow, it's not going to last very long. We've got some temperatures that's going to be warming up. Once again, I'll tell you about it in detail in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota. I'm looking forward to that because I don't have my snow tires on yet. So
get them on, buddy. Get them on.
Quickly, certainly. I'm sure a lot of people will be figuring that out today. Thank you. Well, Chautauqua County's clerk is warning residents about a scam targeting county DMV customers. Clerk Larry Barmore says he's received several complaints from residents getting text messages that claim to be from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, these messages, Barmore says, is asking customers to update their contact info. He says it's a scam, and anyone receiving those texts should ignore them and delete them from their phone. The clerk says the DMV would never send such requests via text or email. The only text or email customers would get from the DMV is a reminder that their registration or inspection is about to expire. That's if they signed up for the service. Well, a new report is foreshadowing potential revenues the state could see if lawmakers legalize recreational marijuana in New York. As State Capitol correspondent Karina Campabianca explains, the idea does have some big backers.
Governor Cuomo has voiced support for legalizing recreational marijuana. Earlier this month, he called it the right policy and said the state is going to be desperate for funding. But a new report from the Citizens Budget Commission says state leaders should be cautious about relying on these potential revenues to help close budget gaps. Patrick Orecki, who authored the report, says there are two main phases after legalization. The first is working out the regulatory structure.
What we've seen is that takes generally over a year to get from legalization to a functioning commercial market. Those times have been trimmed quite a bit, frankly, as more states have implemented and states can draw on what has happened around the country. So about 1 year is reasonable there.
Once the commercial market is in operation, it takes time for people to start using dispensaries to buy products.
That generally takes about 2 to 3 years consistently for customers to move to those marketplaces and for those marketplaces to yield substantial tax revenues for the state.
Orecki says in the past the governor's administration has forecasted about $300 million in revenue from the legalization of recreational marijuana annually once established, but it can be reliant on different factors like tax framework structure.
California is generating the most revenue of any state because of its size especially, but has experienced a lot slower maturation of that revenue source than some other states did. They've had a fairly sticky illicit market where people are still just using the same channels that they used to purchase marijuana previously. So every state's experience is absolutely different.
According to the CBC, California brought in about $764 million in recreational marijuana revenues from July 2019 to June 2020. In Albany, Karina Campabianca.
Karina, thank you. New Jersey is the latest state to legalize recreational marijuana, where voters overwhelmingly passed the measure on Election Day earlier this year. Well, straight ahead here, the latest on Jamestown's council's plan to manage a growing urban deer population. Why hunting here in the city probably won't be starting anytime soon. And later, we tell you the focus of a town hall happening today in Chautauqua County. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. The Jamestown City Council voted last night to table a resolution that would allow the state DEC to grant hunting permits to control the growing urban deer population. The resolution was originally introduced by Councilman Tom Nelson, who says that several residents have expressed concerns to him of deer causing property damage and vehicle accidents throughout the city of Jamestown. Now, several council members, including Councilwoman at Large Kim Eklund, says they're concerned with various unanswered questions, including potentially liability the city could face if an accident were to occur, as permitted residents attempted to reduce the deer population.
I'm not sure why people are so adamant about, just coming into the city and dispensing a firearm, and bow and arrow is a firearm. And it's concerning to me from a city liability standpoint. Most importantly, should the hunter get hurt, should something else happen, where's the liability? And unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, at the time I asked the question, didn't have the answer, along with some other questions I asked, and the big thing for me is safety and liability.
Councilman Brent Sheldon says the council could revisit and pass a similar resolution in plenty of time for the 2021 deer season. The council also discussed a resolution that Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist says is the next step to installing speed cameras in school zones. Local leaders are considering cameras that would target drivers who go 10 miles per hour over the posted limit. Well, today, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell is holding a virtual COVID-19 town hall. This as the county health department continues to announce new cases of the virus every day. In yesterday's COVID-19 update, county officials announced 54 new cases of the virus, ranging from Saturday to Monday. The city of Jamestown saw the highest number of cases over the 3-day stretch, reporting 16. There are now 147 cases active, with 7 people hospitalized, that number continuing a downward trend. The town hall is scheduled to get underway at 3 o'clock this afternoon on Chautauqua County Government's Facebook page. We'll share a link to that once it begins. Well, this Thanksgiving, traffic is expected to be lighter and gas prices cheaper, but AAA predicts fewer Americans are planning to travel over the holiday after another rise in COVID-19 cases across the country. Mandy Gaither has some more on the Thanksgiving travel outlook in today's Consumer Watch.
Like most things this year, Thanksgiving is expected to be different.
People are just making the decision not to travel. We're going to see an at least 10% decline compared to 2019.
Jeanette McGee with AAA says their original forecast predicted about 50 million Americans planning to go somewhere over the holiday.
But since that forecast was put together, we know that number has definitely decreased. And that's because it's the pandemic. COVID numbers are increasing and states are changing their regulations, their guidance in terms of travel when you leave the state or when you return.
Of those traveling, AAA predicts 95% will go by car to places close by and be gone for fewer days. If you plan to travel, plan ahead.
Pack more food and water than you typically do to limit, the number of steps you have to make. You need a thermometer, you need your mask, hand sanitizers, and cleaning supplies.
As for traffic, Wednesday afternoon is expected to be the busiest, but McGee says the roads won't look like they typically do over this holiday.
When you're going through major cities, you can expect some delays, but those delays are more like 20 minutes to 60 minutes, not hours and hours of delays.
Still, if you're going somewhere, AAA recommends leaving early or late, especially around cities and rush hour times. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mindy, thank you. AAA says gas prices nationally are about 50 cents less on average than they were a year ago. Right now here locally, prices did tick up a bit, ranging from $2.32 to $2.35 a gallon. Well, hey, you, take a hike. No, really, get out there, hit the trails, because today is National Take a Hike Day. There are more than 60,000 trails in the United States, most of them almost dating back 200 years, and track the footsteps of some famous explorers like Lewis and Clark. Now, these footpaths can take you to waterfalls, mountain summits, rock formations, dense forests, and even pretty much every landscape imaginable. There are even more trails when you consider those in local and state parks. Now, you're probably within a 10-minute drive to many trails. We have some great ones here locally. Hiking is a great exercise that can burn up to 550 calories per hour. Now is also the perfect time to get out there and explore, as long as you can brave the cold temperatures today, and you probably want to bring some muck boots along too. Just saying. Certainly, Dakota, those shots look beautiful, but greenery's gone for us, that's for sure.
Doesn't look like that around here anymore.
No, not anymore. But either way, happy National Take a Hike Day. I never have told the viewer to take a hike before, so hopefully.
Well, hey, there's a first for everything.
Yeah.
There's a first.
You know,
in the words of Bob Barker, a historic moment.
Right here. You know, it's cute. Some of these National Day things, you know, between us. We have a wire service that sends us these, and I'm like, oh, this will be nice, you know, we'll throw this in. It's a nice kicker, go to weather, whatever.
That's what they call them in the news business. They call them a kicker.
We call them a kicker. It's like I got the metaphorical football, and I just kick it off to Dakota.
Yep.
Actually, I'd be this way.
Yeah.
Kick it off
It'd
to
be
Dakota.
this way, you know.
Since you're over here.
Yes.
They could put you wherever we want.
Yes.
We learned
I
that.
could be down here.
We learned that when we were on remote last week. We learned that they can put our boxes wherever we want, and it does not matter.
I can be upside down. They can adjust me and make me upside down if I want to.
Very true. Very true.
Whatever. But, you know, speaking of a hike, one of my favorite places I like to go, and I haven't been there in a while, is the Chautauqua Gorge in Mayville.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There are so many great trails here along our area. Everywhere from, you know, more urban type of walks like the River Walk to places like the Gorge.
That's a great place to get a walk in too, by the way. Right by the River Walk, right by the pedestrian bridges that they built down there.
Yeah.
That's a great place. If you need a daily walk, that's a great place to get one in.
And even on a day like today where it's a little cold and snowy, I mean, those paths, you know, it's you know, concrete or whatever, so I mean, it might be a little slick, so you got to watch that.
I don't think they're heated like the sidewalks are downtown.
No,
I don't think they're heated though.
Yeah, that's the trick. A lot of people don't realize is a good amount of sidewalks are heated. Not all of them, believe me.
The ones downtown are, especially by the Reg.
Yes.
I know those are
very
heated.
fancy.
So
our alleyway, not heated, gets very slippery.
Yes.
So everyone always forgets to do those, and then we park across from it, so we have to it's like you're kind of ice skating along.
Yeah.
At least not so much today, but
Potter's Alley, that thing gets very, very slick because it's whoop, right downhill. But hey, speaking going right downhill, let's take
what a way to foreshadow the segment.
Let's take a look at the viewer pictures. And this was on Justin's.
I took this.
So this was on Justin's drive in to the studio this morning. And what you see, all these tree twigs and stuff, that's still left over from Sunday. So when you had all the strong winds, but we do have a plow out there that was helping to salt the roads as well. Karen's sending this in from Casadega in the hills of Chautauqua County. And you can see the snow accumulation there. It's looking like a winter wonderland out there. Bridget in Ellicottville. And we see in Holiday Valley, they're already firing up the snow machines. So opening day for the ski resorts, very, very close. And I love this picture. Neil and Arkwright sent us in this. The birds enjoying the snow, and I like the facial expression on this bird right here. He's like, yes, I've got the snow. Yes, I love this picture. That's a great shot. And of course, if you have any pictures or videos of the weather, Hunters WX on Twitter, the First Defense weather page on Facebook, and make sure you use that hashtag MyLocalWX. That's how we see them in the weather office, and we try to get to as many as we can to put them on the air. So snowfall totals, Gary has the most at 3 inches. This is so far today. 3 inches in Gary, 2 inches in Cattaraugus, Sugar Grove in Warren County, 2 inches in Mayville, 1 inch officially here in Jamestown. That was an earlier report. We probably got maybe about a quarter of an inch more on top of that already this afternoon. 1 inch in Little Valley and also 1 inch in Randolph. Right now downtown, yeah, we actually do see some breaks in the overcast right now downtown from top of the Doubletree. 30 as a noon hour right now. The anemometer at the Jamestown airport is broken. I do not believe the winds are calm. We've actually seen the camera bouncing a little bit, but the dew point's down to 29 degrees. So the anemometer is currently broken. So that's actually not correct right now. Live Doppler shows you that we have those lake effect bands coming straight off Lake Erie. These are not exactly Lake Erie snow bands. This is actually a product of lake effect that's hooked up in tandem. All the upper Great Lakes are hooked up in tandem, and it's supplying added moisture into Lake Erie that's helping to generate these lake effect snow bands. And you can see it right here on the satellite and radar. That's our source region right there. You can see all the lakes hooked up in tandem generating lake effect snow as that trough comes in with the colder air coming in. I also put the wind arrows on here so you can see where the wind direction is coming from northwest. So in FutureScan continues to pick up on the idea of a few lake effect snow showers through the afternoon, additional accumulations through the day, likely about 1 inch, maybe upwards of 2 to 3 inches on the hills, and the highest amounts, as always, is going to be across the higher terrain of the southern tier. That all moves its way out of here for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, there still could be a rain or snow shower, especially in the morning. Otherwise, it's going to be partly sunny through the day. We're still going to be cold, temperatures down into the 30s, but we're not going to be there very long, though. We're going to shoot right back up into the 50s by the end of the week. So additional snowfall accumulations. This goes all the way through tomorrow. Again, as often is the case, 1 inch or less right near the Lake Erie shoreline, less than an inch there. Maybe on the hills, 2 to 3 inches. That'll do it there, about 1 to 2 inches elsewhere. Now, once you work down into Erie and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania, we went 3 to 4 inches there because the band will likely sag a little bit farther southward and stay, especially in northwestern Pennsylvania, a little bit while longer. So that's why the snowfall totals are up a little bit there. And mentioned this yesterday, still too cloudy, too snowy to see this, but we do have the Leonard, we do have the meteor shower peaks tonight. But again, I don't think we're going to see it. But if you do happen to find a spot where you can find some clearing, 10 to 15 meteors per hour with a terminal velocity at 44 miles per hour. How about the future? Next 7 days coming up, brought to you by 42 Degrees and Sunny. 35 tomorrow. Thursday, we're better. 50, partial sunshine. And we warm up again by the time we go into Friday and Saturday, partly to mostly sunny each day. And by Sunday, 56, we bring a few rain showers in here. Then we're back down again as we go into early next week. Monday, we could see a few snow showers mixing in with the rain. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. More news is next. Don't go away.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smokin' deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger. This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. A group dedicated to highlighting special education students furthered their efforts yesterday with a special training in Falconer. I knew I was going to group this up. I knew it's not even that hard of a word either. Exceptional stars. There we go. Because they're the perfect exception. Hosted a training at the Falcon's Nest last night for their new Buddies program. Now, Terry Johnson and Beth Germain of the Resource Center provided an hour-long training with 22 of their buddies who work in that program. The group's founder, Rich Bianco, says that he wants his buddies to be more comfortable and confident with working with special need athletes. Bianco's group will be hosting an upcoming bowling day on Saturday, December 5th at Jamestown Bowling Company on Foote Avenue. That social event is sponsored by Schultz Auto Group, and certainly we wish Bianco and his group well because they do so much for the community. And even though now they can't be out playing baseball, they can certainly enjoy some great time together with some great memories. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now. Hopefully everybody is having a great Tuesday and enjoying what is the second significant snowfall of the season. Not that anybody's counting. Good to see Dee. Good to see Lori, Cindy, Ruth, and Andrew. Hopefully everyone is having a good one out there. Let's dip into Dakota real quick for a final check of our weather forecast. And I hear more of the white and fluffy stuff is coming on our way. I don't even know.
What you were
I'm just, do you know that meme that's out there of Baby Yoda? I was thinking about that today, my whole drive in, because I was all worried about my snow tires. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you go zoomy on the slicky, you go bangy into the digi, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I thought about that the whole drive, And that's what I was going to say. But then I was saying something about white and fluffy. I don't even know anymore. I need lunch. I'm hungry.
Yeah, so let's just go straight to tonight's forecast. So the lake effect snow squalls are going to continue up to 2 inches at most on the hills, about 1 inch elsewhere, but it's going to be cold, 25 to 33. But the good news is, if you are not a fan of the snow, it is not going to last very long with temperatures getting up into the 50s by the end of the week.
All right. If you looked outside, Dakota, you wouldn't know it. You'd think that winter was here. So we left.
'Tis the season. Play the Christmas music.
Ho, ho, ho. Do we have Christmas music?
I can find some.
I'm being told no, we don't. We can't play Christmas music because of copyright. We learned that last year. Real hard.
Yeah. Give us, so if you have any suggestions for royalty-free Christmas music that is in the public domain, let us know.
Yeah. If you make any Christmas music, send it our way.
Yes.
Please do.
Local artists.
Play it. Yeah. Yes. We'd love to have somebody in to sing. I mean, they'd have to wear their mask.
Right.
Maybe. All right, here's a live look over downtown Jamestown. We're getting ourselves in trouble. Have a great day. I see the sunshine. It looks pretty nice out there. News continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We remind you, download our mobile app. It's the best way to stay in the know when you're on the go.